Hey everyone, this is Tasha. This is my Suboxone withdrawals update. I have been sober now for about 2.5 months, maybe. I don't know. I lost track. I don't keep track of stuff like that. I've got way too many more important things to worry about. Not saying that myself or my sobriety is not important. Just keeping track of the dates are not important to me. I'm doing really well. We're in the process of getting ready to move, so I look like doo-doo right now. But I wanted to get on here and kind of give everyone an update. Let you know, how my after effect symptoms have been coming along, and what I've been doing to help combat those. I do take a multivitamin twice a day, just until I stop feeling so bad. Then I'll go back down to one a day. But yes, I am still having a little bit of fatigue. I still get the sneezes. One thing I have found out, when I was coming off the Suboxone, I was using Kratom. And Kratom is a really good tool to use coming off of it. But what I've come to realize is that when you're an addict, you can become addicted to that as well. Not so much the actual medication itself, but maybe it's the habit of taking something. And because it makes you feel better, you want to keep taking it. And I'm having a little bit of difficulty with that right now, coming off of it. Because yes, I still use it on a daily basis. And then when I don't have it, I feel the effects of not having it. So my recommendation is, if you're going to use Kratom, use it for a short period of time. I am stepping myself down off of it. Luckily, it's nothing like coming off the Suboxone, or it almost takes me back to when my journey first started and I didn't have any pain medicine, because that was my drug of choice, because that's what I became addicted to, that the doctors freely handed me. And then when they cut me off, that's when, I got really sick, and I worked a full-time job. And it was hard to concentrate. It was hard to want to actually move, which I should have just gone through the 3 days of hell, and been done with it. But I'm thinking that that's what I'm going to have to go through with the Kratom. So, that's why I'm stepping myself down gradually. With the pain medicine, I didn't have that choice, because the doctors just straight out cut me off. And it was either, keep chasing that dragon to worse things, or go try to find help, which what the government offers is just as bad. From what I understand, I know that there's been rehabilitation doctors tell me and my husband, because he had to go to rehab as well, that methadone and Suboxone, well, methadone is just, if not harder to come off of than heroin. And I don't know, I've never done heroin, but I know that when I was coming off the methadone, it was pure hell. It was 8 months of pure hell. I don't know if that's how long it takes people to come off heroin. I don't know how long it takes people to come off methadone, because this is just my personal story, my personal journey. And the clinic that I was going to was not going to help me get off the methadone. They want your money. They want you in there every day. They don't give two shits about you. They don't care about your story. You know, they don't care about how you ended up there. They don't give a shit. All they care about is the greed. You know, the money they can stuff in their fucking pockets. Excuse my language. And let me get back to the kratom. The kratom, I am coming off of it. I am stepping myself down off of it. Which I wasn't able to do with the Suboxone either. I had to cold turkey that. And that's why I started using the kratom. Because I understood from other people that it helped them get off the Suboxone. And I knew I was ready to get the shit out of my body. But it doesn't help that I'm putting more shit in my body, even though it's from a plant. Really, with me being awake, and I don't mean, you know, getting out of bed, you know, waking up when the alarm clock goes off. I don't mean that kind of awake. When I say awake, I mean I am consciously awake. That's why I chose to get off the Suboxone. This happened to me. I went through a very, very, very dark period in my life. Back in 2016 into 2017. It lasted, I was very depressed. Very depressed. And it just came out of nowhere. And it lasted a good between 6 to 8 months. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to move. I forced myself to do the things that I knew I had to do. I went through job after job because I was not happy. I was not a happy person. I lost touch with friends. I didn't want to talk to family. The only people I wanted to see were my husband and my kids. And sometimes I didn't even want to see them. Sometimes I would cringe when they would come walking in, because that's how dark and low I got. But that was my dark night of the soul. That was something that I personally had to go through to wake up. And once I woke up, it was like a veil had been lifted. That's the only way I can explain it. It was like, and I'm almost positive the reason I went through this dark night of the soul was because I was just so fed up with the struggle with living and thinking there's nothing better out there. There's nothing better for me out there. I thought I had learned everything there is to learn. I thought, I had experienced everything that I was supposed to experience. And because nothing was happening in my life. And it just went downhill from there. But once I came out of this, like I said, it was like a veil had been lifted, and my eyes opened. It was like It's so difficult to explain unless you personally go through it. And yes, I was still taking the Suboxone. But at the time, I wasn't really drinking. That was in my past. It was just mainly Suboxone. And I don't know. Before this dark night of the soul, have you ever asked yourself, what is life about? Why am I here? What is my purpose? And that's where I was. I saw no purpose. I saw no future for myself. And I was so tired of living in this world full of hate and disgust and dirtiness and evilness. And I just couldn't stand to see so many people just being so just mean and hateful and rude and inconsiderate of their fellow human being. Because we're not here to hate each other. We're here to show love, to help one another, to have compassion, for our fellow human man, fellow human being, regardless of skin color, regardless of what fucking, what side of the fucking government you're on. If you're a Democrat or Republican, are you serious? Really? We're going to hate each other and be nasty and kill each other over shit we have no control over. Really? Really? Because of beliefs that they have put into our heads. Because I was asleep. Because I just let them lead me around on a leash, thinking, oh, it's okay, everything's fine. The government's going to take care. Bullshit. Fuck the government. Fuck these hate groups and these people who are so close-minded. If you say something which people would say out in left field, they look at you like you're a fucking nutcase. Really? Why? Because I have an open mind and can see past their bullshit now? Yeah, I've been seeing this stuff for a year and a half. 2 years. And, well, it'll be 2 years this spring that I've been awake. And so many things have come to the forefront. You've got to stop thinking that everybody's crazy who thinks differently than you. Really? That's what makes us great. The differences is what makes us great, is what makes us human beings. You've got to stop being so close-minded to the fact that, our government was behind the 9/11 attacks. Do the research. It's all there. Those buildings fell from controlled demolition. Do the research. I'm inviting you. I've done it. I've done research. Since I woke up, that's all I've wanted to do is learn and envelop and just find out what the hell has been going on, really been going on with us being just ignorant to the fact. There's so much more than that. There's the child trafficking into, the Illuminati is real. Okay, people? It is real. There are devil worshippers out there everywhere. I'm not kidding. Then they traffic children. The government is trafficking children, kidnapping and trafficking children. CPS is kidnapping and trafficking children, using them as prostitutes, raping them. And then, the kid gets so fucked up and, they're just nuts, Let's just throw a nuts label on them because they've been just tortured and so many inhumane things. And this is to people, our fellow man, our fellow human being. Why is this happening? Because there's a handful of nasty, disgusting, I don't even want to call them people, at the top, pulling all the strings because they've got all the money. And that's what it boils down to, is money, greed. Money is the root of all evil. And that is not a bullshit statement. Now, go do some research on your vaccines. I know, I'm just another nutcase out there, not trying to put the blame somewhere, right? No, for once, I'm taking responsibility for myself and for my family. For once. I was there once. I was at this good place once before I got fucked up on the drugs. And that's another thing. They want to keep the opium coming into the United States. They want to keep pushing the medications to get you addicted, to dumb you down, so you don't wake up, so you don't realize what the hell's been going on. It's time to pull the veil back, people. It's time to get your life back and understand what we've been living in. It is time to wake up. Open your eyes. Open your mind. It is way too late to be looking at people like crackpots who come out saying stuff like this. That time is past. That time is past. It's time to start taking some of this stuff seriously, people. Vaccines. Okay? My youngest son, he was born fine. He was born fine. He got his vaccines and started going downhill. And I didn't put two and two together. I thought, his pediatrician would not put something in my baby that would hurt him. Mercury is in vaccines. Do you know that? Mercury is so bad for the body. Same with fluoride. They put fluoride in our drinking water, people. Fluoride is a chemical that just builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up until it causes things like Alzheimer's, things like heart disease, brain damage. Mercury causes brain damage. Did you know that? It actually kills the neurons in your brain. And they're giving it to babies who can never get rid of that shit out of their bodies. And they're linking that to autism. My youngest son was diagnosed autistic when he was 4 years old because he couldn't talk. I changed his diet. I stopped taking him to the doctors. I stopped taking both of my kids to the doctors because I don't want any more toxic shit put in their bodies. They deserve a chance at this life without the shit that the government is pumping into them. The CDC is behind it all. Not behind it all, but they're in there. They're in there. Same with the medical association, because it all comes down to money. Big pharma, money. It's all money, people. They don't give two shits about you. They don't give two shits about your kids, your newborn baby. They don't care. You know, 10 years ago when all these parents were coming out, these no vaccination parents, you know, and I'm looking at them like, you guys are nuts. There's too many diseases out here that your child can catch. And then what if your child catches it and then starts spreading it? Well, and then my theory was, well, my kids got vaccinated, so it doesn't matter. They won't catch any of this stuff. Yeah. Those were the smart parents. The parents who were awake and advocating for their children. And it took me till 2017 to wake up. To actually understand what's been going on. And you know, I try to talk to my family, my husband even, and they laugh at me. And my mom and my sister say, Tasha, you're nuts. Don't go around telling people this shit because they'll want to throw you in a mental institution. But you know what I say to all those people, all those haters? Fuck you. That's what I say. Fuck you and your outdated belief systems. Because it's time to wake up, people. Get off the drugs. Get out of their system. You know, I'm still figuring this shit out. You know, life is a conundrum. And yeah, it was really bad there for a while. It sucked, you know. And I don't want to waste my life keeping my mouth shut and not trying to educate and not trying to wake people up. That's my purpose here, and I know it. I know it. I'm a light shower. Something came to me in a dream and gave me that title. I don't know who or what it was. Something I've never seen. If you want to say an alien, go ahead. I don't know. But it's time, people. It's time to wake up. It's time to You're probably thinking to yourself, oh, you've just turned into another conspiracy theorist. Do your own research. Do your own investigating. That's what I did. Go to libraries. Look on YouTube. The people are your best source of information. There are so many people coming out of the government and out of the military telling us these things because they've witnessed it or been a part of it firsthand. And they want the American and the world, for that matter, to know what's going on. Because it's inhumane. It's against human rights. It's unconstitutional, if that's the way you want to look at it. It's nothing but a big control system to keep us medicated, to keep us looking down, looking at our phones, or, putting us in front of televisions and keeping us zombified for hours and hours on end, instead of really focusing on yourself and going inside and understanding and having that knowing that what you're hearing is real. It is true. That's all you have to do. Stop depending on them. Start depending on yourself. Start taking responsibility for yourself, for your life, for your happiness, for your joy. Because that's the only message I'm trying to spread. I'm not trying to spread fear. I'm not trying to spread hate. I'm not trying to spread anything negative. Because I'm not negative. I'm not hate. I love my fellow human beings. I've worked in the medical field for 20 plus years. Trying to help my fellow human being. But I'm just one small piece of a puzzle. And just one small piece of mankind. And the only way to get out of this mess that we have let ourselves be put in, is to wake up and to know love and peace and want that in your life. You want all the bad stuff to go. It's done. It's outdated. It's in the past. It's time to move forward. It's time for the human race to evolve. And the only way to do that is you must wake up. You must get out of the hypnotic state that they have us in. You must open your eyes and realize what they've been doing to us for all these years. This all started back in the 40s and 50s. 1940s and 50s. The chemtrails. Yeah, my husband, oh, you're crazy, Tasha. Those aren't chemtrails. Are you kidding me? I remember growing up and seeing nothing but blue, open, beautiful skies and thanking God every day I was alive. Hugging the trees. Because I've known since I was little that I was a part of Mother Earth. And that I am a part of a collective. It's called the human race. And we are all children of Mother Earth. Yeah, our souls don't come from here. But where do you think our bodies come from? We are a product of Mother Earth. We are her children. We should be loving her and taking care of her. instead of polluting her and killing off our fellow human beings, our brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter what color skin you have, like I said before. It doesn't matter which party you vote for. It doesn't matter, if you have the better clothes. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter. All of that's outside of you. All of it is outside of you. It's time to wake up, people. Get off the drugs. That's the first step. Get off the drugs. It took me a year of me putting that shit in my body to finally say, all right, I've had enough. It's time for me to start putting me first. And yeah, you can say, oh, you're selfish. No. Self-love and self-care is not selfish. It's self-love. It's self-care. Because you must love yourself first before you can actually really love anybody else. And that's the truth. That's the truth. You have to want better for yourself. And with that awakening comes all of these realizations that you just had either no clue about or you just preferred not to give two shits about. All of that changes when you wake up. It's time, people. Get off the drugs. You can do it. You can do it. Stop letting them control you. Because that's all it is. It's control. Because they don't care about you. They don't care, if you lose everything, you lose your kids. Oh, well, your kids are just more money in their pockets. You understand? I mean, they're taking kids out of good homes and shutting down the family with a gag order so that they have no recourse. And then they put these kids in homes where they're sexually abused, physically abused, mentally abused to damage them so they can do what they want with them. Is that what you want? Ask yourself. Is that what you want? Do you want to keep living like a zombie? Do you want your family broken up? Do you want to lose everything that you've worked so hard to get? Because if you don't get off the drugs, you will. And I know this firsthand. Because I've never lost my kids, thank God. Thank God. But I've lost everything else. And I've been working a long time to get it all back. All of it. Everything that we have a God-given right to. That's a roof over our heads, food in our bellies, love in our hearts, compassion, kindness, empathy. These are all given rights, God-given rights that we deserve. Good health, all of it. We deserve it all. How many times do you want this cycle to continue? Because you not getting off the drugs, you being afraid, because that's where I was. I was afraid to get off of the Suboxone. I was afraid of the shit I'd have to go through getting off of the Suboxone. And it was the fear that was keeping me complacent. It was the fear that was holding me back. Well, I'm no longer afraid. And I refuse to allow fear to control my life anymore. Because that's what they do with the media, with the television. They fearmonger to keep you in a fear state of mind, a fear frame of mind, so you're more easily controlled. Stop being afraid. Stop. Because it does you no good. No good. If you truly want a good life, a happy life, let the fear go. Let it go. Conquer that fear. That's all you have to do. Because I guarantee you, that's what's holding you back. That's what's keeping you on the drugs. Yeah, you're going to feel like shit. Yeah. There's times in life you get sick and you feel like shit that you didn't ask to happen. You know, you get the flu. You feel like shit. It's just like going through the flu. You don't have a choice in the matter when you get, when you catch the flu. You don't have a choice in it. You didn't ask for it. Go through it. Deal with it. It makes you a stronger person. It wakes you up. Which that wasn't what woke me up, but I knew that I had to go through that in order to get to where I want to be. Because I'm not there yet, I'm far from there. I'm not perfect. There's not one human that is. And if someone tries telling you that they are, they're living in a fantasy world, people, And don't let people dog on you. Don't let them control you out of fear. Because that's what it all boils down to. Is the fear. You're afraid of what people will think of you. You're afraid of, what if someone finds out? Fuck them. Who's living your life? Not them. Who has to live with your unhappiness or your happiness? You do. Other people can want the worst for you or want the best for you. But that's other people. That's outside of you. You must take responsibility for yourself. It's time for the human race to grow up. We've been living like this for way, way too long. And it's time to grow up, people. I love you all. Hopefully this wasn't too bad of a rant. I'm just so tired of seeing all the negativity. It's time for us to start loving each other. Start being there for each other. Open our hearts for each other. It's time. Stop letting them lead you around on a leash blindfolded. Wake up. Take responsibility for yourselves. I love you guys. Bye.